It's in New Albany, Mississippi, May 2nd, 2010. After a couple of days of pretty steady rain. It's the Tallahatchie River. In the distance you can see the US 78 bridge. The water has overflowed the banks of the Tallahatchie. The tree line there is normally the bank, is the far bank. That tree line is normally where the nearer riverbank is. As you can see, it has completely overflowed. This is the Sportsplex. It's completely underwater, pretty much. There's one section as I pan around that's not. See, there's lots of traffic of people driving by to check the flood out on the bridge here. You can see the New Albany Gazette, which is the local newspaper, their offices are flooding. In the distance, you can just make out there's a field, and the tree line beyond is actually the nearest bank of the river. It's flooded a fairly good distance so far. But one of the main reasons the water's getting up this far, the river level is so high, it's backed up the storm drains and they're overflowing. It's not that common in it's not that uncommon in low-lying areas, but it doesn't happen that often here. This part of town's fairly low, but still, normally the river doesn't get this high. You can see another one down by the other drive, and in the parking lot there's another little fountain coming up. Just beyond this point, just around that curve, the police have the road blocked off. It's flooded. I'm going to try to go over to downtown, but I'll have to take a different route. That's 78 in the distance. The water hasn't gotten up over the road here yet, but it's probably only a matter of time. Alright, just to hopefully you can see in the distance the flashing lights there. The road's closed right down here. I'll see if I can get just a little bit closer, but I'm going to have to turn around soon. Yeah, this section of downtown is flooded out pretty well. It looks like, if you can see, probably since the police car was parked, the water level has risen enough that it's getting up under the tires. So I'm going to have to turn around and go a different way here. Alright. Probably can't see on the video. Well, you can see some of the water. That has risen noticeably since I came through here about 15-20 minutes ago. It was barely up into the road. It's all on the right side, barely covering the white line. And when I just drove through, the lane was entirely submerged and it was halfway across the center turning lane. So looks like the water in the river is still rising. The rain stopped for now, and most of the other floodwater has gone down. It's now 5:15, and as you can see, the water level is rising from the river. This would all be from the river. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to try to drive through that like these people are. I'll turn around here, but this wasn't flooded at all when I came through earlier. This is at the intersection of West Main and Bankhead. This is where West Main turns right to make Bankhead. So this is the river crossing. Now you can see it's flooded pretty badly over there already. You can see past the cars. There's lots of police and city personnel here blocking traffic. Well, excuse me. Blocking the road so people don't try to go down it, because people are trying to drive through the flooded areas. Here's the bridge, the Bankhead Street Bridge. It crosses the river. Okay, we're on the Bankhead Street Bridge. This is the Tallahatchie River. You can see in the distance, that's the pedestrian footbridge that connects the park along the river, just on that side, to the Tallahatchie trails. They're on this side. You can see where the bridge connects over here. That's normally one bank of the river. And just past this tree line is normally the other bank. The river has overflowed the bank at this point. Both the Tallahatchie trails and the park along the river are completely flooded. Alright, this is the other side of the river, or the bridge, looking north now. That's a railroad bridge right there. I can't remember ever seeing the water level up this high. You can see it's just brushing against the bottom of the bridge there. You can kind of see further upstream that the river is just flooded and completely over the banks. Looking around this way, that's normally dry land on the other side of the banks. A little bit of trees right there are normally where the bank is. So you can see not only how far over the banks it is, but how far up it is. Those are just some little scrub trees. They're only maybe 15 feet tall, so it's well over flood stage, so it's halfway up them. Pictures, hopefully the train isn't coming through this evening. The bridge itself is just packed with people. You can see cars parked all along the side. And the water's still rising. This is along East Bankhead, down by the river still. You can see the officers have the street blocked off. The pickup truck there has a boat trailer behind it. They apparently launched one of the boats, and they're back out on the other side of the tracks checking things out. One thing of interest, I've been reading more about the history of New Albany and the county lately, working on a presentation for later. But I happened to see a mention of a 1946 flood where the river overflowed its banks, and there were men in boats on Bankhead Street. Now you can hopefully see that Bankhead Street has an uphill grade up past what used to be Hamilton Hardware, is now the Crylike Realty, and on up the street. I believe the flood came up to about where that car is. So 74 years ago there was a flood that was even worse than what's going on now. Hopefully this one won't be that bad. It'd be a bad thing if the floodwaters get up this high.